They're talking right now about doing Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul. What? Jake Paul apparently wants that fight. And he agreed to, I think it was 99% to 1, where Joshua gets 99% of the money and he gets 1%.
AJ has to kill him in 3 rounds.
If it goes longer than 3 rounds, you back Jake Paul?
No, I don't back Jake Paul. That means, what is AJ doing? Yeah. He has to smoke him in 3 rounds. The same way he did in Gun.
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky.
If AJ doesn't knock him out in like 1-2 rounds, then I feel like the fight must be fixed or something, because I'm going to Anthony Joshua, obviously.
He's going to die. These are the words echoing across social media after rumors exploded of a £100 million Netflix super fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. 2 names from completely different worlds. One, a YouTuber turned boxing disruptor, and the other, a former world heavyweight champion. Now, the boxing world can't stop talking and the pros are losing their minds.
Jake wants to fight Anthony Joshua now?
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
So he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now? He's like, no, I want to wait till 2026. They're like, okay.
To put on weight, put on all the steroids.
Because if this fight really happens, someone's legacy and maybe even someone's jaw is getting shattered.
Anthony Joshua goes in, pops him a few times in the face, walks out of 150 million quid. No one will remember the fact he fought Jake Paul. They'll remember the fact he knocked Klitschko out in Wembley in 2017.
Totally agree with that.
So I'm kind of, whilst I don't like it, and I don't like the way that Jake Paul gravitates to these brilliant athletes and like a moth sucks the life out of them because he gets a benefit of association, because I think they deserve all the association. But he is a and there is opportunity there, isn't there?
Listen, commercially, of course it works because it'll be huge and there'll be a load of money on the table. And for Anthony Joshua, it's like sort of, you know, he's going to get rewarded very well with no risk, minimal risk, no risk at all. He's going to go in there and he may then put all this stuff to bed with Jake Paul and calling out all these different champions, etc., etc.
The announcement hit like a thunderbolt. Reports of Netflix stepping into the boxing arena with a crossover mega deal worth over £100 million spread faster than wildfire. Jake Paul, the internet's most polarizing figure, now standing across from Anthony Joshua, one of the most physically dominant heavyweights of the modern era? It sounds like something out of a movie script, yet it's the fight everyone suddenly wants to see. From gyms to locker rooms, fighters are reacting, some in disbelief, others in pure outrage.
Well, Anthony Joshua was talking about wanting warm-up fights before going into bigger fights, but look, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and the way that Joshua will see it and Matchroom and all the team, the fans won't like this, by the way. But
I don't like it
No,
either.
I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua will see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab, but at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking? Nah, definitely not.
I don't want to see a man decapitated in Miami in a ring in December.
Listen, and that's what will happen. So
14 months ago, he got beaten up by Daniel Dubois. He's been away from the ring for ages. Now he's stepping in against a YouTuber who's probably wouldn't even win a Southern area title. This affects his legacy, Spencer.
David Haye was one of the first to make his feelings clear, and his reaction set the tone for the debate. He didn't hold back. In his eyes, if this fight actually happened, Jake Paul would be walking into a serious danger zone. Haye compared the matchup to a lion versus a house cat, underlining the staggering difference in skill, experience, and raw boxing pedigree. He said, "If this fight comes to fruition, I genuinely fear for Jake Paul's life. If by some miracle he were to pull off an upset, it would be bigger than Mike Tyson's defeat against Buster Douglas. In boxing pedigree terms, this is like a lion versus a house cat. Two completely different propositions." Haye also made the point that any restrictions or exhibition-style rules would be crucial if this fight were to go ahead. He struggled to see how Joshua could be limited, considering the power and precision he carries. He said, "I'm struggling to believe that AJ will be allowed to freely punch Paul to the head without some sort of restriction or exhibition. Unless Anthony Joshua is in hospital, connected to a life support machine, he should find a way to victory in any way he wants." Paul has only 12 career wins to his name against very modest competition. AJ is an Olympic gold medalist and two-time heavyweight champion of the world, and this is absolutely crazy. Not far behind, Derek Chisora offered his own take, bringing a mix of bluntness and a certain dark humor to the conversation. Chisora didn't mince words, calling the matchup deliciously chaotic. He made it clear that if Jake Paul actually entered the ring with Joshua, it would likely be an overwhelming mismatch. He suggested that Joshua would need to assert dominance quickly, ideally ending the fight within the first 3 rounds.
Delicious. Listen, good. AJ took a year out. Easy fight for him. And I think this should be laid to rest, because I don't think AJ's gonna go in and try and pat. AJ's gonna smoke him.
Could AJ finish this in a round if he wanted to?
Depends, we'll see. But I will say this to AJ. Don't let that guy knock you out, because that will be fucking nightmare forever. But 1 or 2, put it this way, AJ has to kill him in 3 rounds.
If it goes longer than 3 rounds, you back Jake Paul?
No, I don't back Jake Paul. That means, what is AJ doing?
Chisora also stressed that the stakes were high in terms of career respect, advising Joshua to avoid any slips that might make him vulnerable. He highlighted that if Jake Paul somehow landed a knockout, it would be a historic upset, the kind of shock the boxing world rarely sees. Yet for Chisora, the preferred narrative was clear: Joshua controlling the fight and showcasing why he remains a heavyweight titan.
He has to smoke him in 3 rounds. The same way he did in Ngannou. How many rounds was in Ngannou?
2, second round.
Exactly. So he has to smoke him fucking 2 rounds.
Would it be the biggest upset in boxing of all time if Jake Paul was to knock out AJ?
Yeah.
Then there was Tyson Fury, bringing an entirely different perspective. Fury threw his support behind Jake Paul, claiming that Joshua had passed his prime and lacked the fuel to dominate this matchup. He envisioned a scenario where Paul could potentially land a knockout, emphasizing the danger Joshua faces stepping back into the ring after years at the top of the heavyweight division. Fury's stance added a dramatic twist to the ongoing conversation. Suddenly, the discussion wasn't just about mismatched skills or experience, it was about timing, physical condition, and the unpredictable nature of boxing itself.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky.
Beyond the expert reactions, the fight also sparked serious concerns about fighter safety. The size disparity between Paul and Joshua created a scenario rarely seen in professional boxing. For once, Jake Paul would be on the smaller end of the spectrum, facing a man built to carry heavy blows with devastating power. Paul's career had largely been built in fighting opponents smaller than himself, often in exhibition-style bouts that allowed him to capitalize on speed and reach.
Relatively young and still relatively got something left in the tank, and he's only fought the world-class guys for the last 10 years. This would be Jake's not only hardest fight, most dangerous fight of his career. If Jake is doing this, it could signal the last one. I'm not even joking. This could signal Jake being like, I'm having one more of these and I'm out. Because where do you go from Anthony Joshua? We'll get into that part in a second, but the Netflix thing. We know that Anthony Joshua is an exclusive fighter to DAZN. Eddie Hearn has stated that multiple times. AJ, I'm pretty sure, even has a piece of DAZN. I could be wrong about that, but he signed a mega deal years ago with them. So for this fight to take place on Netflix,
stepping into a genuine heavyweight fight against Joshua meant he would be venturing into truly treacherous territory. This was the kind of mismatch that exists for a reason, which is why weight classes were created.
I've got a problem with this one, because Anthony Joshua is a 2-time world champion. Jake Paul's a YouTuber and doesn't deserve the right to be in a ring with Anthony
Well, don't buy the fight then.
It's dangerous. I think it's a dangerous fight. We saw what Anthony Joshua had done to Francis Ngannou. This is a fight.
I know, but what I'm
People
saying
are going in there, their health is at risk.
But the only reason they're
put
doing
someone
it,
in there in a ring.
I know, Jay.
And you say the only reason we're doing it is for money. That don't sit right with me.
Fine, then don't buy it.
We've seen boxers die who got punched in the face. Fine. You want to make some money. Eddie Hearn, all that matchroom, and make a fortune, right? Fine. Jake Paul's going to make a fortune. Anthony Joshua makes a fortune. I'm worried for Jake Paul getting seriously hurt. You are putting an amateur boxer in a ring with a 2-time world champion.
The physics of the matchup made the danger all the more real. A 252-pound heavyweight like Joshua generates far more kinetic energy in a punch than a 199-pound fighter can. A flush right hand from Joshua could have consequences that go beyond what most casual fans might imagine.
I don't know if you've seen, but this fight's in the works, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. As a Brit, how do you evaluate?
I've just seen that. Someone just told me about that. That's mad. Fair play to Jake Paul, first of all, for taking it. But if AJ doesn't knock him out in like 1-2 rounds, then I feel like the fight must be fixed or something. Because I'm going to Anthony Joshua, obviously, for the KO. So yeah, when is it? You know?
It's meant to be next month. They're working towards.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah, I'm going AJ for the win.
Cheers.
Rumors about the fight escalated quickly. Reports began surfacing that negotiations were moving forward, with both sides supposedly closing in on a deal. Rumors of a December event in Miami streamed across sports media, with Netflix allegedly involved in broadcasting what could be a record-breaking spectacle. Paul was reportedly stepping up massively, taking on a fighter who had once dominated the world stage. Mike Coppinger praised him for the courage, if not the logic, of taking such a risky fight. This was no longer about YouTube hype, this was about real money, high stakes, and potentially career-defining consequences. But not everyone was ready to buy into the hype just yet. Eddie Hearn, Joshua's promoter, provided a reality check that brought the conversation back down to earth. While he acknowledged discussions had taken place, he emphasized that nothing was finalized. Hearn painted the matchup as what it really was: a catastrophic mismatch driven more by potential financial gain than sporting logic. He noted that while Paul might be crazy enough to step into the ring, the risk level was extreme. Hearn's words reminded fans and fighters alike that excitement shouldn't overshadow the dangers involved.
Would we take the fight? Absolutely. I think Jake would be... I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signs to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing.
The mixture of speculation and caution added layers to the discussion. On one hand, fans were drawn to the prospect of seeing a YouTube sensation face a seasoned heavyweight in a headline-grabbing fight. On the other hand, insiders were warning of the reality of mismatched skill, size, and experience. The contrast between audacity and caution fueled the conversation, keeping it alive across platforms and prompting countless debates.
There you have it. In the midst of all this, I did reach out to Eddie Hearn, as did Gareth, and he said, "We have spoken, but nothing close, and I doubt he would be so crazy," he being Jake. I then asked him, "Would you say this report is premature?" He said, "Absolutely." And then I said, "Can I attribute this to you?" And he said yes.
Every reaction from the pros contributed to a sense of suspense that the fight itself, even in rumors, seemed to generate. Hayes' warnings made the stakes feel monumental. Chisara's blunt predictions brought a mix of fear and dark humor. Fury's confidence in Paul added unpredictability. Meanwhile, the statistical realities of size and power reminded everyone why the fight was controversial in the first place. The narrative became as much about storytelling and tension as it was about predicting a winner.
The Joshua thing is crazy.
Is that a real conversation? Jake's a lunatic, and it's probably real.
I saw Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou, and the guy was like out cold for 5 minutes. And this is a guy who had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out.
If he steps in the ring with him, and actually a bell rings and there are punches thrown, every bit of Jake Paul is not a real boxer conversation is gone forever.
The media frenzy amplified every comment. Social media posts, interviews, and podcasts were filled with speculation. Fans analyzed previous fights, compared physiques, and debated the possibilities endlessly. Each pro's take was dissected, shared, and reinterpreted, giving the rumor mill its own life. The fight, though not yet official, was already making waves akin to the biggest boxing events in history.
This is another level. This is a really dangerous. He ain't fighting a granddad. He isn't fighting a grandfather. It's absolute lunacy. It's insane. It's dangerously insane. Is right. And I never thought I'd say that in my lifetime, but because he says some crazy shit. But he probably could knock him out with his bell end.
Even discussions about safety took on a dramatic flair. Analysts pointed out that a 199-pound fighter facing a 252-pound heavyweight was not a standard encounter. They highlighted that weight translates into raw punching power and energy meaning every blow carries far more risk than Paul had experienced before. These considerations fueled the debate about whether such a fight should ever happen, balancing curiosity against caution.
I want to change subjects just a little bit here. And Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing? And two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
Through it all, Paul's willingness to accept the challenge earned him recognition, even among skeptics. The move was undeniably bold, an ambitious gamble that could either cement his name in boxing history or end in a cautionary tale. Analysts acknowledged that bravery, even if they doubted the probability of him winning. This tension, the clash between audacity and experience, is what makes the conversation so compelling for fans, commentators, and pros alike.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the f is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden, he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. You can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
Meanwhile, rumors of Netflix involvement added a layer of mainstream spectacle. The idea that a streaming platform could host one of the most talked about fights in recent memory changed the stakes entirely. It wasn't just about boxing, it was about entertainment, finance, and cultural impact. The combination of Paul's celebrity appeal and Joshua's established legacy created a narrative ripe for discussion.
Yeah, just broke the news here a couple of minutes ago that Jake Paul will be fighting Anthony Joshua next month in December in Miami. As we all know, Jake Paul was set to have an exhibition actually this Friday against Gervonta Davis in Miami on Netflix, and now he's going to fight, instead of having a fake fight, basically, I don't want to say fake fight, but an exhibition against a 135-pounder. Now he's going to fight a heavyweight in a real fight, and it's a bout that was in talks earlier this year. And look, I know that it's a major business, but still got to give Jake Paul major props, right? He's fighting Anthony Joshua. We saw what Joshua did to the last non-world-class boxer he faced, which was Francis Ngannou, flattened him in 2 rounds last year. So I think it's fascinating.
Analysis and hype. As speculation grew, each pro's reaction added depth. Hayes' concern, Cesare's blunt urgency, Fury's surprising backing of Paul, and the sheer physical mismatch combined to create a story that was more than just a fight. It became a debate about risk, legacy, courage, and consequence. The boxing world was captivated not simply by who might win, but by what the fight represented, a collision of worlds, styles, and experience levels.
Look, Joshua said he wanted a warm-up fight, right? You're looking at a fight potentially with Tyson Fury next year, and if you're going to do a warm-up fight, you might as well make tens of millions of dollars to do it. I can't blame Anthony Joshua here, no.
But is there a right to question AJ's ambition in the game when he takes fights against Jake Paul?
Sure, I think that's fair for anyone to question, but me personally, I can't blame him because it's a mega payday, and it seems like it's a low risk.
Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn's reality check reminded everyone that while excitement was natural, measured judgment was necessary. The financial implications were enormous, the spectacle undeniable, but the physical risks were just as real. Nothing was confirmed, yet the discussion had taken on a life of its own, with every reaction amplifying the suspense and speculation.
Jake's trying to get anyone to fight now.
Yeah,
Francis Ngannou, Ryan Garcia, AJ.
We're hearing AJ again. Yeah. Maybe Eddie Hearn would have to, just admit defeat and say, fine, it happens on Netflix.
but it's an absolute king's ransom.
It's yeah. Oh,
it's a king's ransom.
Yeah, it's if I'm AJ, like I used to remember saying at the time, like, don't do it. It's rubbish. Doesn't help your career. Ade, shut up. It's you're getting gifted 70, 80 million for a sparring session.
And it would do whatever views Tank Davis versus Jake Paul does, triple them for AJ.
It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
I know it would. It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, I think it would do bigger than
Absolutely,
Canelo
it
Crawford.
would do much bigger.
Yeah, because every single man, woman, child over here will watch it. It's on
Everyone
Netflix.
over here would watch it.
In the midst of all this, fans remain glued to the updates. The combination of audacity, danger, and high-profile reactions ensured that every tweet, interview, and report drew attention. The fight, even in a rumored state, was shaping into one of the most fascinating stories in recent boxing history. Every professional voice added color, perspective, and drama, keeping audiences engaged and eagerly anticipating the next development.
The fact that it's a heavyweight, it's not a lightweight.
Yeah, it's
People
a
in
fight he's
America
supposed
would
to
be like,
lose. Because everyone wants to see Jake Paul get chinned, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's ultimately
Yeah,
what we're going to
literally,
see.
that's what everyone wants to
So
see.
there'll be a queue of people queuing up with their Netflix account, just waiting to see if this big monster can chin him.
From start to finish, the conversation around this potential super fight highlighted the complexities of modern boxing. It wasn't just about records or skill, it was about spectacle, celebrity, and risk. The narrative unfolded like a story in real time, complete with tension, prediction, and bold declarations. The sheer energy around the fight reflected the way boxing has evolved, blending traditional skill with modern entertainment and viral culture.
Jake Paul could last 3 rounds with Anthony Joshua. 3, 2, 1. You've seen he's called him out, presumably.
Yeah, in 2026. I mean, that's like me saying I'm going to go for the gold at the 2028 Olympics for surfing. It's clickbait, but he might just be mad enough to have a go. It's very dangerous, very dangerous. I mean, you saw a guy who has the same size as AJ and who has much more ability than Jake Paul, which is Francis Ngannou. And you saw what happened to him, and that was scary for a while. So, yeah, we can joke about it, but
Ultimately, whether the fight happens or not, the reactions of pros like David Haye, Derek Chisora, Tyson Fury, and the insight from Eddie Hearn have created a story that will remain a topic of conversation. It's a tale of risk, courage, and spectacle that illustrates why boxing continues to capture attention worldwide. The clash between audacity and experience, between celebrity and legacy, defines the drama in a way few other sports can replicate.
Number one, this would be the thing that potentially could cause the snag in the road here. We all know at this point from the rumors of them potentially fighting in 2026 that came out, I think, 2 or 3 months ago, that one of the biggest issues in making this fight, one, yes, that's the former heavyweight champ. Why is he fighting Jake Paul? And 2, why is Jake Paul putting his health and well-being on the line? Because someone asked me on Twitter, Wade, if Jake Paul gets knocked out, will his career be over? Buddy, his life may be over if he gets knocked out by AJ, because that dude put Francis Ngannou flat on his back, and I had never seen Francis Ngannou hurt before. Again, it's boxing, not MMA. Jake has a little more experience, but we're talking about a massive size difference.
So, as the world waits for confirmation, one thing is certain. This isn't just another fight, it's a collision of worlds, a test of courage, and a spectacle unlike any other. Fans, analysts, and fighters alike will be watching every development, every rumor, every report. And when the fight finally happens, or doesn't, the discussions, predictions, and drama that have surrounded it will remain part of boxing lore.
I don't recommend it for Mr. Paul.
I like Jake. He's a good promoter, very good promoter. And he's a funny guy. He's got a great sense of humour, got good people around him, the key, so they know their business. There's a massive weight disparity, and that's a tough thing to give away, especially with somebody who's got so much physical advantage over him, and he's a young guy, AJ. He's not an old guy, he's a young guy. Will it happen? Who knows? Anything happens sometimes in our sport. But I think that is a big ask of Jake beating him. Big ask.
And that is all for today, folks. Make sure to hit like if you're hyped for this insane potential clash. Drop your predictions in the comments below. We want to hear whether you think Jake Paul has a chance or if Anthony Joshua is going to dominate. And don't forget to subscribe to Ring Rivalry for all the latest updates, fight breakdowns, and insider reactions from the world of boxing. This is one story that's only going to get bigger, and you'll want to be here for every moment.